Hi and welcome. My name is John Ballwood. I work at the Learning Lab at Santa Fe Institute. I've been a classroom biology teacher and have a long-standing interest in understanding how to teach and learn with computer models and simulations. In this video, we're going to discuss the educational aspects of using models in the classroom, including the theoretical foundations and the learning progression used in the curriculum. First of all, why should we model? Everyone is creating mental models of how the world works all the time. We may not even be conscious that we're creating them. When you say you understand something, it usually means that you've created a mental model of the thing. You can think of your mental models as being inside a box where no one else can see. Learning to make computer models forces us to make our mental models explicit or visible. The models that we make become objects or artifacts that we can share and discuss. Making our mental models explicit forces us to confront our assumptions and makes us think about what we're attempting to model. Also, bringing our mental models out of our minds and into the open by communicating them very clearly means that we can now compare them with other people's models and test them against real-world data. We can also use models to test different scenarios to reveal trade-offs, uncertainties, and sensitivities, and discover new questions and lines of investigation. So why are models so valuable? When you think of models, you might think of weather forecasting, where models are used commonly to predict the weather in the future, but models can do more than predict. Models can explain phenomena such as epidemic dynamics, wealth distributions, how energy flows through a food chain. Models can also suggest analogies which allow us to see connections between seemingly unrelated processes. For example, an epidemic is similar to other phenomena such as the spread of ideas, revolution, religions, adoptions of innovations, or even a forest fire. Models also raise new questions. They can guide data collection. In science, you often need a theory before you know what data to collect. For example, Maxwell's electromagnetic theory deduced the existence of radio waves, which people then looked for and found. Models can help us think about what data to look for. Doing well on school exams can show you that you are able to answer someone else's question, but perhaps a more important goal of education is, can you ask a new question? Only new questions can produce new discoveries and new knowledge. Models help us generate new questions because they naturally lead us to ask, what if? The use of computer models as tools for thinking has a long history. Seymour Papert was an MIT professor from the 1960s to the 1980s, and he invented a new theory of knowledge called Constructionism. Papert defined Constructionism as building relations between old and new knowledge in interactions with others while creating artifacts of social relevance. Papert built upon Piaget's theory of constructivism, which gave an essential role to the learner and his or her active engagement in knowledge construction. But whereas Piaget saw a formal abstraction as the goal of knowledge construction, Papert valued both the abstract and concrete forms of knowledge and the social contact where such learning occurs. When we're thinking about education, Constructionism focuses on how learning is constructed in the interactions between teachers and students as they engage in the design, creation, and discussion of learning artifacts. Papert is probably best known for inventing Logo, a programming language that features a turtle that can follow simple movement commands and draw on a computer screen. Logo allows children to 1. Identify with a computational object, 2. To manipulate the turtle in ways similar to objects in the real world, and 3. To connect personal experiences to mathematical concepts and operations. Computer models are a type of object to think with. The agent-based modeling and simulation environments we use today are descendants of Papert's original Logo. Instead of using a single turtle, we now create virtual worlds populated with many turtles or agents, and through the interactions of the turtles, we're able to model complex systems. Models are learning artifacts that can be designed, created, and discussed in the act of constructing learning. Using models enables learners to manipulate mathematical and scientific objects and conduct inquiry in new ways, while at the same time potentially reassessing and or reinforcing content knowledge. Modifying models and creating models are even more constructionist in nature because they engage students in a design process to produce objects to think with that students can share and discuss with other people. The use, modify, create progression can be followed when integrating models into the classroom practice. As students move from use to modify to create, they follow a progression from easier but less powerful learning to harder but more powerful learning. They also progress from using someone else's creation to making a creation of their own. In the use phase, students are given a completed base model to work with. They may run the model using different parameters. They may make observations, collect data, and try to infer the rules of the model. This type of activity takes less time to implement in the classroom than to modify or create. Teachers do need preparation time to select or modify an existing model or to create their own model and to design the activity for the students to interact with that model. But be cautious in this phase. Time also must be allocated to look under the hood and discuss what is included in the model through examining the code and what has been left out of the model. Otherwise, students may come away with connections between inputs and outputs, but no real understanding of the mechanism or the why. In the modify phase, students can look at the rules of the model, change the rules, or add new ones. This is a little harder and takes more classroom time to help students understand the model's rules. Because computer models built in star logo Nova allow students to see the rules behind them, students can uncover the assumptions of the person who made the model, understand that the rules can be changed, and see how these changes may affect how the model works. In the create phase, students design the model and determine its rules. Oftentimes, multiple modifications of the model amount to creating this model from scratch. This is the most time-consuming and difficult activity along the progression because the need to teach students how to design and program, but it also has the most potential for powerful, deep learning. Circling back to Piaget, Papert, and Constructivism, students are able to fully participate in the process of making their mental models explicit, to share and compare their models with others, and to have the ownership of their ideas. When students pose their own questions and then use a model of their own creation as an experimental testbed, then analyze and share the results of their research, the full power of the constructionist experience takes place. The use, modify, create progression offers a scaffolded approach to developing student skills in modeling and simulation.